Rogue Legacy is a 2D side-scrolling action platformer that will no doubt invoke thoughts of Castlevania or Ghouls and Ghosts upon first glance, but a deeper look into the game reveals something much more special. I'm Mitchell from GameFront, and this is a video review for Rogue Legacy. Developed by indie game development studio Cellar Door Games, Rogue Legacy is billed as a roguelite, a play on the roguelike genre that typically consists of games that have randomly generated levels, permadeath, and brutal difficulty. So let's see. Randomly generated levels? Check. Brutal difficulty? Check and double check. Permadeath? Kinda sorta check. When you die in Rogue Legacy, your progress in that particular run through the castle is lost. So in that sense, it is permadeath. Every time you die, you have to start over from the beginning of a randomly generated castle. However, in your next life, you can actually control one of the heirs to your legacy. This heir inherits all the gold you found in your prior run, and can spend that gold on upgrades, equipment, and enhancements that will then carry over to all of his or her future heirs. So basically this means that while you lose any progress you've made in the castle, your character progression is carried over every time you die. The catch is that you must spend all of your money before you re-enter the castle, because of this asshole right here. He will take all of your gold away each time you re-enter the castle, making it impossible to simply stockpile money. If you don't make enough money to afford some sort of upgrade, Charon's gonna mug you for every bit of gold that you've got. When you're selecting your next heir, there are a number of things to consider. Each heir has a class, several traits, and a magic spell. The starting classes are Knight, Mage, Knave, and Barbarians. Knights have good all-around stats, Mages are glass cannons that focus on magical spells, Knaves have weak stats but great critical hits, and Barbarians have weak strength and magic, but loads of hit points. There are plenty of unlockable classes as well, and while they vary in terms of their overall usefulness, they each have a specific role that they play very well. More interesting are the various traits that these characters have. Traits are randomly assigned bonuses or detriments that are loosely based off of real-world afflictions. For example, colorblindness causes the game to put on a black and white filter. Having ADHD will allow your character to move extra fast, and vertigo will force you to play the entire game upside down. There are a ton of these traits, and you're going to want to experience them all, even if they lead to your death occasionally. Now let's talk about the castle itself. The castle is broken up into 4 parts. There's the main castle level, and from there, if you go north, you'll eventually reach the tower. East to reach the forest, and south to reach the dungeon. Unlike a Metroidvania, there are no doors that are unlocked by a future power-up. Every area in Rogue Legacy is accessible from the start, with the exception of the final boss. Whether or not you actually want to adventure into the dungeon at level 1 is a completely different story. But just as a hint, you don't want to adventure into the dungeon at level 1. Each area is guarded by a different boss battle, and only by defeating all 4 bosses will you be able to unlock the door to the final boss. Taking down these bosses would be a nightmare if not for the ingenious addition of the Architect. The Architect is an NPC that you can purchase once you're ways into the game, and by giving him 30% of the gold you find in your next run, you can lock the layout of a castle down and retain the progress you had before you died. This is huge when fighting bosses because it allows you to use a waypoint and teleport right to the boss with a fresh character. It's a rare thing when a game comes along with as many cool and interesting ideas as Rogue Legacy, but it's even rarer when those ideas are actually as cool as interesting in practice as they are on paper. Rogue Legacy is that kind of special game, and if you're at all interested in challenging, rewarding, and well-designed 2D action-adventure games, don't let this one slip under your radar. For more on Rogue Legacy, including my written review, please check out GameFront.com, and while you're here, why not hit that subscribe button to get all of our best content delivered right to your YouTube homepage. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.